Does the world need another game with cars? No. Are you kidding me? Of course not. Am I making one? Of course I am. Why would you even try and make one? There are hundreds of them, all the same. You just drive around in circles, and even if you spend years working on the handling and physics, some guy who spent more money on his pretend racing car than you would on an actual car will complain that the windscreen wiper animation isn't accurate enough and the game is trash. All good points. But here's another good point. You, I'm making a rally game. What's that? Do I actually know how to make a game? No, but I refer you to my previous argument. You, I'm already doing it. Because I'm too old to be making YouTube videos, I've been playing rally games since the 80s. Like a hipster at a gig telling you he was there before the band got big and sold out, I was playing rally games before there were even 8 colours on the screen. Some were good, some were very, very bad. But things really started to pick up in the PlayStation and Xbox era. You've definitely already heard of Colin McRae Rally, but Rally Sport Challenge, Richard Burns Rally, V-Rally and the classic Really Rally Valley, which I just made up, were all great attempts to capture the drama and terror of sliding an overpowered Japanese saloon car sideways into a tree in a Swedish forest. There's one thing missing from all of those games, and from racing games in general: consequence, narrative, and tension. Let me give you an idea of what I mean. In 2020, there was that big thing that happened, the one that meant you couldn't leave the house. I'm playing it safe here, because I'm still not sure you're allowed to say it on YouTube. Anyway, during that time, I got added to a group chat of sound engineers who like talking about cars, which frankly is about as niche as it gets. One of the lads organised a daily rally on Dirt Rally 2. We would all play it on our random mix of PCs, Xboxes and PlayStations, and it became the highlight of my day, doing a bit of practice, then tackling the stage for real. But it was high risk too, because if you messed up, there was no reset button. So you had to balance the risk and reward. Do you push to close the gap to the fastest drivers, or play it safe and actually finish with the car roughly in the same shape as when you started? Could you nurse a sick car through 2 more stages before you finally got to hit it with a big hammer and fix it with duct tape? No resets, no restarts, no rewinds. If you bin it, you're out until the next rally. And as frustrating as that was, it made the experience so much better. Just finishing it felt like an achievement. And we compare notes afterwards, where it all went right or catastrophically wrong. In a really difficult time, those daily rallies meant a lot to me. They reignited my childhood love of rallying, and I still talk to the lads from that group every day. So that's the feeling I want to capture. Because even though a few games have tried to build stories around racing, like Race Driver and Grid, none of it really matters. You lose a race, you just restart it. You don't lose money, you don't lose your spot, you just try again until you win. But real motorsport, even at the amateur level, is expensive and deeply unglamorous, and that's where I want to start my game. How do you make a game that captures the personal and financial risk of rallying, where you care about your car, and just finishing the stage feels like a win? That's my starting point. A single and multiplayer roguelike deck builder rally game. If I knew any more gaming buzzwords, I'd use them. Maybe it's a Metroidvania 2? Who knows? I've got big plans, but first I have to make it drive well. Right now, I've got 3 cars, rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, and yes, you guessed it, a unicycle. Four-wheel drive. At the moment, you can thrash them through a short stage that's about a minute long with a bunch of surface types that all affects how the car handles. Now, I may not be a smart man. Actually, no, that's it. I'm not a smart man, but I am patient. So I spent a ridiculous amount of time trying to make the handling believable and fun. I'm never going to make a full-on sim, and that's not the goal. I want it to feel believable, but mostly I want it to feel satisfying and cool. I spent ages trying to build proper transmission and tyre models, but I could never get them to behave in Unity. I tried all the built-in vehicle components, and let's just say we don't get along. Eventually, I decided to build my own system, basically a kart racing style physics model. Your car's just a body suspended on 4 springs, which to be fair is pretty much what a car is. And once that worked, I added momentum, steering and stuck some wheels on the bottom. Boom. Instant rally car. It's floaty, a bit unpredictable, but for a rally game, not the worst starting point. From there, I've created various systems and routines to simulate understeer, oversteer, grip loss, all that good stuff. And now it handles like a believable arcade-ish rally game. It feels good, man. I won't get bogged down in the technical bits, but I've built loads of systems on top of that base and I'm pretty happy with what I've ended up with. It's not perfect. The low speed steering is still rubbish, but it's fun. There's grip and loss of grip. Each car feels different and the surface actually affects the physics. Dip a wheel onto the grass and it tugs your car sideways or into a spin if you're unlucky. But nothing is canned or faked. It's all happening in the physics engine. There's sound, music, menus, the full package. Even my own attempt at pace notes. I forced myself to get a completely playable version together early so I could spot what works and what didn't. And let me tell you, making the menus is the worst. But I've done the hard stuff now. It's a solid base to build from. Everything you see, the models, the shaders, the code, is mine. I'm not saying that as a flex. Well, maybe a little bit. But yeah, I know it's stupid doing something this ambitious on my own. Still, that's the fun bit for me. Figuring out the stuff I didn't understand at all when I started. Every day it gets a little less amateurish and a little bit more like a real game. So what's the big deal? 1 stage, 3 cars. It's basically Art of Rally if it was built by an idiot. But this is where things get interesting. Because from here, it's not really about the physics or particle effects. It's about making a proper game. Something with stakes, something that makes you care about whether you finish or not. I want to create that lockdown feeling, doing those dirt rally dailies with the lads. The nerves, the stupid mistakes, the triumph of just not binning it. That constant sense of balance, right on the edge, where one bad gear change or sneeze can ruin everything. That's the heart of what I'm trying to make. I want every decision to matter. Money, parts, sanity. You'll have to manage it all. You start out broke, with a half-dead hatchback that's mostly rust and hope. Maybe you turn your gearbox into metallic confetti and have to find a new one. Maybe you can't afford tyres, so you run another rally on one of basically slicks. It's not about collecting supercars or shiny upgrades, it's about survival, scraping through the season with duct tape and determination. Long term, I'd love it to happen in an open world, or at least a handful of connected regions full of roads, tracks and trails. The game could generate new routes to them, or let you create your own, throwing in tricky corners just to annoy your mates. I've got little tech demos running for stuff like surface deformation, damage, repairs, route finding, all the fiddly dangerous bits. Can you afford to fix it properly, or do you bash it straight and hope it holds? A bit of duct tape, a bit of denial, job done. It's all miles off, but every day it feels more like a real game. A bit less like me having a nervous breakdown in Unity. So that's the plan, a rally game about risk, reward and regret. That mix of excitement and absolute dread that makes rallying so addictive. I'll dig into the new systems and career stuff in the next video, but until then, drive fast, don't crash, and if you do crash, make it look cool. Oh yeah, and if you actually want to try the game, it is available to download now in what I'm generously calling a pre-alpha build. I'm trying to update every week, so if you fancy giving it a go and seeing the progress, it'd be great to hear what you think of it. And if you fancy supporting my work, you can buy some of my 3D assets. And I also run a little store called Car Cups, where I put my car models onto customizable cups.